The WNBA is going through a controversy that's shaking up the basketball world. At the center of this storm, we have Caitlin Clark, the rookie sensation of the Indiana Fever, and Diana Taurasi, the living legend of the Phoenix Mercury. Two players, two almost identical actions, but completely different results. Picture this: Clark, the rising star, gives a little tap on the backboard after a frustrating play. Result: immediate technical foul. Now put Taurasi in the same scenario. The veteran does pretty much the same thing, but walks away scot-free. It's like we've got two different sets of rules running in the league at the same time. One for excited rookies and another for established veterans. But hold on, because this is more serious than it seems. This technical foul for Clark isn't just a detail in the game. It's a ticking time bomb for this final stretch of the season and the playoffs. If she gets one more, folks, it's an automatic one-game suspension. And guess what? We're literally one game away from the end of the regular season, with the playoffs knocking on the door on September 22nd. Let's break this play down frame by frame. Clark, in the middle of a game against the Las Vegas Aces, one of the toughest teams in the league, is doing what she does best: dominating the court. On a defensive play, the referee calls a foul, and she gives that little tap on the backboard, enough for the refs to whistle a technical foul. Now, let's talk about Diana Taurasi. In a game against the Chicago Sky, she does practically the same thing, gives that little tap on the backboard after a play, and it wasn't a light tap, okay? In my opinion, it was even stronger than Clark's, but the refs couldn't care less. This difference in treatment is leaving a lot of people scratching their heads. It's the kind of thing that makes fans question the consistency of refereeing in the league. Does Taurasi get a free pass because of who she is? Or are the refs being too hard on Clark because she's a rookie and drawing so much attention? The impact of all this on Clark's career could be huge. She's not just any player. She's the phenomenon of the season, breaking records, filling arenas, and making everyone's jaw drop with her talent. But now, she's having to play more carefully, as she's just one more technical foul away from being suspended. Just imagine the Fever close to an important game, and suddenly they lose their best player because of a suspension. That could be the difference between making the playoffs and elimination. And then what? How's Clark's confidence? How's the team dynamic? This situation is forcing Clark to play differently. She has to think twice before showing any emotion on the court. This could affect her playing style, her spontaneity, that fire that makes her such a special player. The most interesting thing is seeing how this controversy is bringing more attention to the WNBA as a whole. People who didn't even care about women's basketball are now discussing rules and controversial plays. In a way, Clark is making the league grow even when she's in the middle of controversy. Clark plays with her heart on her sleeve, and that passion is what makes her so incredible to watch. But now, with all this pressure from the refs, she's having to learn to control this fire like a chef balancing spices in a delicate dish. The Fever is doing its part, giving all the support, especially Aaliyah Boston, who always tries to keep Caitlin in check on the court. And this shows how united this team is. And what's at stake? Much more than just playoff games. The Fever doesn't just want to participate, they want to make noise in the playoffs like a crowd at a championship final. And for that, they need Clark on the court more than ever. Every game now is a final, and losing their best player would be like stepping on the court with only 4 players. The WNBA playoffs are brutal. Folks, there's no best of 7 series. It's pure knockout. It's a best of 3. One slip up and it's over. You're at home watching on TV. And it's not just a fever that has a lot at stake. The WNBA itself is keeping an eye on this situation. Clark is the phenomenon of the season, the rookie who's making everyone want to watch women's basketball more than anything. Just imagine the marketing loss if she's out of a decisive game. It'd be like a show without the main attraction. For Clark, personally, these playoffs are the chance to prove she's not just hype, but the real deal. It's the opportunity to show she can perform at the highest level when the pressure is at its max. And this is making me anxious for these playoffs. A good performance in the playoffs could mean better contracts, more visibility, who knows, maybe even finally open doors for the U.S. national team in the future. The sky's the limit for Clark, but she needs to be on the court to reach for the stars, not sitting on the bench because of a suspension. Look into the future. Clark has the potential to be one of the greatest players this league has ever seen. That's not an exaggeration. The talent is there. The numbers don't lie, and her impact goes far beyond the 4 lines. But this whole technical foul thing and the apparent close marking by the refs, this could shape the kind of player Clark will become. She can go down 2 paths. Either learn to play within this system, controlling her emotions more and becoming mentally stronger. What we can't deny is that Clark is already the face of the new generation of the WNBA. She's doing for the league what few have managed, bringing in new fans, increasing visibility, making people interested in women's basketball as if it were the hot new TV series. Now think about this. What if Clark manages to maintain this level for the next 10, 15 years? We're talking about a revolution in the sport. More sponsorships, more media coverage, higher salaries for athletes. Clark has the potential to elevate the league as a whole, like a rocket taking everyone to space together. But there's the other side of the coin. All this attention, all this pressure can be a huge weight on the shoulders of such a young athlete. We've seen many promising talents who couldn't handle the pressure and ended up not living up to expectations, like a souffle that deflates before its time. Clark's challenge will be to keep her feet on the ground and her head in the right place. Like a tightrope walker, she'll have to learn to deal with criticism, media pressure, fan expectations. It's not an easy task, but I believe she has the potential to handle it all. And there's more. How the league will deal with her in the coming years will also be crucial. The WNBA needs to find a balance between promoting its star and not creating an us against them environment with other players. In the end, the sky's the limit for Clark. She has everything it takes to become a legend of the sport. One of those we'll tell our children and grandchildren about like an epic story. But the road is long, and each game, each season will be a new challenge, like increasingly difficult levels in a video game. For a rookie who started the season being so criticized, she's now leaving everyone anxious for the playoffs. What a crazy story, right? But now I want to know what you all think about this. Are you on Clark's side in this? Do you think the refs are being too harsh? Or does she need to control herself more than a monk on retreat? And what about the future? Do you think Clark will manage to stay out of trouble and take the fever far in the playoffs? Or are we going to see her watching a decisive game from the bench because of a suspension? Leave all your thoughts in the comments. I want to see this section blowing up with your opinions. And look, if you enjoyed this content, don't forget to smash that like button. It helps the channel grow so much and bring more quality content to you guys. Oh, and if you're not subscribed yet, man, what are you waiting for? Your next life? Click that subscribe button down below. That way, you won't miss any news about the WNBA and all the controversies coming up. Thanks for watching and see you next time.